This message did not arrive to start something new. It is not here to push you forward, rush you, or make you want more than you already have. Its purpose is much quieter and much deeper. It came to help you recognize a state you are already in. Because right now, you are aligned with abundance, and Archangel Michael offers confirmation of this truth. This is not a promise about the future. It is an acknowledgement of the present moment. You may have noticed that you are no longer chasing in the way you once did. You are not forcing outcomes, replaying scenarios, or trying to prove your worth through effort alone. From the outside, this can look like stagnation. From within, it feels like something settling into place. Alignment with abundance is rarely loud. It does not demand attention. It does not rush. It does not need to explain itself. The energy of Archangel Michael is clear and steady. He does not speak through fear or urgency. He speaks through reassurance. What he is saying now is simple. Abundance is not running toward you because it does not need to. You are already moving at the same rhythm. You are vibrating at the same frequency. That is why life may feel quieter lately. There is less struggle, less resistance, less pressure to make something happen. The human mind often associates abundance with motion, with constant effort, constant thinking, constant wanting. But true alignment is a state of inner stillness. When the mind stops asking when, and the heart releases the fear of what if it never happens, energy settles naturally. Abundance responds to this stillness, because stillness is trust. You may have experienced closed doors recently, plans that did not unfold, answers that did not arrive. Yet somehow, these moments did not shake you as deeply as they once would have. Somewhere inside, you were able to say, "This is fine," even if you did not fully understand why. This is one of the clearest signs of alignment. Abundance does not attach itself to panic. It responds to surrender. Archangel Michael reminds you of this truth. If you were truly off your path, your inner peace would have disappeared by now. You would feel compressed, restless, constantly alert. Instead, what you are experiencing feels more like rest than waiting. This is not emptiness. This is reorganization. Abundance does not always arrive as money or material gain. Sometimes it arrives as time, as relief, as the quiet removal of unnecessary burdens, as no longer having to deal with the wrong people, as realizing that something not happening protected you. These are all expressions of abundance, and you are already living them. Perhaps you have wondered why nothing dramatic seems to be happening. What you may not see yet is that something significant is already underway, but it is subtle. Your energy, your timing, and your direction are synchronizing. Life slows you down not to punish you, but to prevent you from scattering yourself. It creates space because a full vessel cannot receive. Archangel Michael offers another clear message here. You are not missing anything. You are not late. You are not behind. You are standing exactly where you need to be. And this stillness is the place where abundance recognizes you. You are no longer in a phase of proving yourself. You only need to remain steady. Abundance responds to consistency, not force. If you have felt less inclined to explain yourself lately, this too is a sign. Less need to justify your choices. Less desire to narrate your process. Abundance works best in quiet confidence, not in constant self-expression, but in grounded presence. Your energy is beginning to reflect this. As certain things drift away from you, other things are already moving toward you without announcement. You do not need to chase them. You do not need to monitor their arrival. Your role right now is simply to stay where you are, without self-doubt pulling you backward. There is nothing you need to do in this moment, only something to notice. Ask yourself gently, where in my life am I no longer forcing? Where am I allowing instead of pushing? Where do I feel more trust than fear? The answers point directly to the space where abundance already lives. Archangel Michael adds this final reassurance. If this message reached you, it is not random. Only those already tuned to this frequency can receive it without resistance. For someone not aligned, these words would feel empty. But if you feel a sense of relief as you read, that relief is the confirmation itself. Your only task now is not to disrupt this calm. Do not compare your timeline to others. Do not pressure yourself with imagined deadlines. Abundance is moving with you, not ahead of you, not behind you. You are walking together. This part was not meant to take you somewhere new. It was meant to show you where you already are. Because abundance does not always knock on the door. Sometimes it is already inside, and you are beginning to feel that truth. There is another quiet shift happening beneath this alignment, one you may not have named yet. Your reactions have softened. When something takes longer, you do not immediately assign meaning to it. When a door closes, you do not turn inward with blame. Somewhere inside, a knowing has taken root. Not everything needs to happen immediately. Archangel Michael speaks gently here and says that abundance does not respond to urgency. It responds to trust. And trust has begun to stabilize within you. You may notice that your need for control has lessened. Situations that once required constant management now feel easier to release. You are more willing to say, if it unfolds, it unfolds. This is not resignation. This is maturity. There is a difference between giving up and standing in quiet confidence. What you are experiencing now is confidence without tension. Abundance recognizes this state. According to Archangel Michael, one of the clearest signs of alignment is the fading need for external validation. Approval, recognition, or acknowledgement from others may no longer feel essential. Not because you feel disconnected, but because you are no longer negotiating your worth. Abundance flows toward those who know their value without advertising it. You may also notice that certain spaces in your life have emptied. Fewer people, fewer obligations, fewer distractions. At first, this can feel like loss, but in truth, it is room. Abundance requires space to arrive. A crowded life often masks avoidance, while openness signals readiness. You are no longer filling silence just to avoid feeling it. Your body may also be responding. Perhaps your sleep has deepened. Perhaps your anxiety does not grip you the way it once did. Even if the same challenges exist, your nervous system is no longer racing for impact. This is important. Abundance settles into the body before it expresses itself in the external world. Safety comes first. Archangel Michael emphasizes that alignment does not mean everything is resolved. Uncertainty can still exist. Questions may remain unanswered, but you are no longer drowning in them. They do not define you. They pass through without attaching. This emotional steadiness is strength, not detachment. You may feel less compelled to explain your process to others. There is less desire to justify your timing, your pace, your decisions. This is not secrecy. It is self-trust. Abundance does not require explanation. It requires coherence. And your inner world is becoming more coherent. If opportunities have dissolved or redirected recently, this is not a setback. Archangel Michael clarifies that alignment often corrects course quietly. Abundance does not always arrive as more. Sometimes it arrives as better. And better is not always immediately impressive. It is often deeply supportive. Reflect on old patterns that once drained you. Repeated disappointments, familiar struggles, predictable frustrations. If you now find yourself stepping out of these cycles, even slightly, this is abundance at work. Because abundance is not only about gaining, it is also about no longer repeating what costs you. At this stage, Archangel Michael highlights the importance of energetic discernment. You are no longer responding to every request, every invitation, every impulse. This is not withdrawal. This is alignment. Abundance moves toward those who choose deliberately, because choice reflects self-respect. You may have moments where you think you are doing nothing, but internally, clarity is forming. Your thoughts are simpler. Your desires are more honest. You know what you do not want, and this knowledge is just as valuable as knowing what you do want. Abundance cannot arrive clearly when boundaries are unclear. There is also a gentle warning here. The only thing that can disrupt this alignment is returning to old reflexes, forcing outcomes, comparing timelines, arguing with time itself. These behaviors pull you out of sync, but you do not need to fight them. Awareness alone weakens them. A consciousness aligned with abundance does not constantly search for signs. It does not demand reassurance. It carries a quiet sense of rightness. If you feel a subtle easing as you read this, that easing is not suggestion. It is recognition. The body relaxes when it hears truth. This part was not meant to teach you how to attract abundance. It was meant to show you how abundance is already responding to you. You are no longer positioned as the one waiting. You are positioned as the one holding steady. And steadiness is the doorway abundance prefers. At this stage of alignment, the shift becomes less about events and more about perception. The way you interpret what happens has begun to change. Delays no longer feel like threats. Silence no longer feels empty. Archangel Michael indicates that abundance deepens through interpretation. When you stop treating life as an opponent, it starts behaving like an ally. You are beginning to see what happens not as something against you, but something guiding you. You may notice that when something does not materialize, your first instinct is no longer self-criticism. You do not immediately search for what you did wrong or what you failed to notice. The question has softened. Sometimes it does not appear at all. This is not indifference. This is inner security. Abundance cannot stay where self-attack is constant. It remains where self-trust has taken root. According to Archangel Michael, one of the most important changes in this phase is how you manage your energy. You are no longer engaging with everything. You do not feel obligated to respond, explain, or participate in every situation. This is not avoidance. It is refinement. Abundance expands in spaces that are uncluttered. Your inner world is becoming more intentional. Uncertainty may still exist around you. Practical matters may not be fully resolved. The future may not be clearly outlined. Yet these unknowns do not consume you as they once did. You are learning to stand inside uncertainty without collapsing into it. There is a quiet knowing that clarity arrives after alignment, not before it. Abundance responds to this inner orientation. Archangel Michael reminds you that abundance does not rush. Speed belongs to the mind. Accuracy belongs to the soul. You are currently moving at the speed of accuracy. This can feel slow when compared to external expectations, but it is precise. Life may appear to pause around you, but in truth, you have entered a deeper rhythm. You may also notice a loosening of attachment. Ideas that once defined you are easier to release. Outcomes that once felt essential no longer feel absolute. This is not loss. This is purification. Abundance works with essence, not excess. What falls away now was never meant to carry forward. There is also a shift in how you imagine fulfillment. You are less focused on a future moment that will finally make you feel whole. Instead, a sense of steadiness is beginning to form now. When fulfillment moves from the future into the present, alignment strengthens. Abundance prefers to meet you where you are, not where you are striving to be. Life may begin to offer subtle confirmations. Not dramatic changes, but small moments of protection, timing, and ease. A delay that prevents stress. A redirection that later feels fortunate. A conversation that arrives exactly when needed. These are not coincidences. These are calibrations. Abundance fine-tunes before it expands. Archangel Michael offers a clear distinction here. Abundance does not exhaust you. It soothes you. If a path leaves you constantly tense, hyper-alert, or depleted, it is not aligned. Abundance creates expansion in the body. Breathing deepens. Shoulders lower. Your system recognizes safety. If you have felt this more often, alignment is active. You may sense that something is approaching without knowing what it is. There is no image, no plan, no timeline. Yet there is no impatience either. This is intuitive awareness. Abundance moves through intuition, not logic. Logic organizes the past. Intuition recognizes alignment in real time. Archangel Michael also brings attention to old scarcity reflexes that may still surface. The impulse to rush, the fear of missing out, the urge to secure before trusting. These reflexes do not mean you are misaligned. They mean you are human. You do not need to eliminate them. Simply noticing them is enough to reduce their influence. Being aligned with abundance does not mean you are always calm or joyful. Emotions still move. Doubt may still pass through. But these states no longer define your direction. They come and go. You remain. This stability is where abundance anchors itself. Archangel Michael encourages you not to underestimate the quiet confidence forming within you. It may not feel dramatic. It may not be visible to others. But it is the strongest foundation you can have. What is built on calm alignment lasts. If, while reading this, you felt a gentle recognition rather than excitement, that is intentional. Recognition is deeper than motivation. Abundance does not need to convince you. It only needs you to notice it. This part was not meant to describe how abundance will enter your life. It was meant to help you see how it is already behaving within you. You are no longer calling from a distance. You are standing in the same space. And from this shared ground, everything unfolds naturally. At this final stage, the energy has settled. There is no longer a sense of waiting for something to begin. Instead, there is a quiet openness, a readiness to receive without tension. Archangel Michael describes this as the receiving state. It is not passive. It is alert without straying. You are present enough to notice what life offers, and grounded enough to hold it when it arrives. This is where you are now. From the outside, it may appear that little has changed, but internally, your orientation is completely different. Abundance is no longer positioned in the future as a reward or outcome. It has shifted into a state of being. Archangel Michael notes that this is one of the rarest alignments because many desire abundance, but few can remain steady within it. You are learning to remain. You may observe that you meet life with less resistance. When something is offered, you do not immediately question it. When something is delayed, you do not immediately fear it. This is not forced positivity. This is trust that has become embodied. Abundance recognizes this form of trust because it does not fluctuate with circumstance. Archangel Michael speaks clearly here. You no longer need to call abundance in. You do not need to persuade it or prepare yourself for it. It is already in contact with you. Your role now is simply not to disrupt that contact. Disruption comes not from inaction, but from returning to old habits of urgency and self-doubt. You are learning to move without those habits. At this point, life may present choices that test your alignment. Some options may look impressive, but feel constricting. Others may appear modest, but feel expansive. Abundance rarely announces itself loudly. It often arrives quietly, through what feels sustainable rather than spectacular. You are becoming sensitive to this difference. Archangel Michael emphasizes the importance of kindness toward yourself in this phase. Old fears may still rise at times. They do not indicate failure. They indicate memory. You do not need to silence them or argue with them. Simply noticing that they no longer control your decisions is enough. Abundance flows more freely through acceptance than resistance. You may feel less inclined to share every development with others. There is less need to narrate your process or explain your progress. This is not isolation. It is containment. Abundance grows best when it is not constantly exposed. Privacy allows it to root deeply. Your inner knowing is sufficient. In the receiving state, impatience does not reclaim its power. When something does not happen immediately, it does not pull you backward. You understand now that timing is not punishment. and delay is not denial. This understanding lives in the body, not just the mind. Your nervous system recognizes it as safety. An aligned consciousness can appreciate small gains without needing them to justify existence. Because there is no longer a sense of lack, everything that arrives feels additive. You are no longer measuring your life by what should have happened. You are noticing what is happening and allowing it to be enough. This perspective is deeply attractive to abundance. Archangel Michael offers a final reassurance. You are not misplaced. You are not late. You are not unfinished. Your current position is stable, and stability is what allows expansion without collapse. What unfolds from here will do so naturally, without force, without proving, without urgency. What is asked of you now is not effort, but recognition, not maintenance, but acknowledgement. When a state is recognized, it stabilizes. Alignment with abundance is not a moment. It is a posture, and you now know this posture intimately. If, at the end of this, you feel calm rather than excited, that is intentional. Calm indicates truth landing. The soul relaxes when it hears what it already knows. Archangel Michael's presence recedes here, not because the connection is lost, but because the message has integrated. Nothing more needs to be said. What remains is lived. Abundance did not find you, and you did not catch up to it. You are always in the same place. Now you are aware of it, and that awareness is the most valuable alignment of all.